What's going on there, YouTube? So, first drive with this thing. I ran out of daylight and it's been raining all day today, so I didn't get to drive it as much as I wanted. You can see it's pretty dusty. Figured out the controller wasn't too bad. A lot of these buttons, like somebody mentioned in the first video, they don't really do much. Seems like some of the buttons do some, I got two buttons for the same thing. Shifting gears, hit that, and then you have to hit one of these, and I don't know. But in top gear, this thing does scoot along pretty good, especially considering its weight. And the one issue I had, it has some sort of servo saver, and like instead of moving the servo, like it clicks. I don't know if I can get it to do it now because the servo is not powered on. But took it over a couple small jumps, and the steering all of a sudden would be way off to one side or the other. And then with the power on, the servo is very stout. It feels very strong. And you turn the wheel and it would click. You could feel the servo saver click back in to the next. It has grooves, I guess, that it sits in. So taking over some small little jumps and things, and it would seem to kind of mess up the steering. You'd have to stop and kind of grab the tires and try to straighten it back out. It was off a little bit. You can fine tune it on the fly with the remote, but that was really the only problem I had. It's a lot of fun to drive around it, just the size of it. One of the coolest things about it is the sound. It actually does, if you hold full throttle long enough, it will shift gears. And you can hear it run through 4 gears. It's pretty cool. It's a nice touch. That was one thing that was missing on the sound kit that I put on the P408, the big 8x8. It doesn't have transmission shifting. It just kind of revs wide open and goes. So I don't know how many gears those things have or what transmission they came with or anything, but that was a nice touch for this one. Didn't break anything. Like I said, just the one steering issue. It got quite dirty. Even the slightest little jump, if it just got a few inches of air, and as soon as you land, if it landed on one side or the other, the steering would jump to that side, and then it would pull that side until you click the steering back into place. So that's something to look at. It does have that dual steering rack thing where it has like I don't know what you call it, like a idler arm basically for the steering. The servo's on one side with the servo saver, and then it has an idler arm on the other side, and it actually has kind of a realistic style steering mechanism. So I don't know if we put a regular solid servo mount or servo horn on there, if it would negatively affect anything, or we break the servo or what, but that's something to look at. But overall, I really like this thing. It's pretty cool. It's just so scale. I don't know what I want to do with it. I haven't patina on camo stuff, there's an art to it. I mean, you look at all the 1/35th scale stuff on YouTube and all the model guys that do that stuff, they're so far beyond my abilities that it's daunting to even try to tackle something like that. So, I don't know. It looks good all dusty. I think we're just going to keep driving this thing and having some fun, beat the snot out of it, and we'll see what kind of patina we end up with naturally. But I do hope to get the new HG P408, I think. It's an armored truck, 6x6, and if you've seen their little promo video going around, they actually blow something up under it. It's pretty dang cool. And I'm hoping to get together, I'm building an army, in case you can't tell. Got the 801, got the Hummer now, get that 6x6. I'm hoping to do some kind of cool video. I'm waiting on one more thing that HG is supposed to come out with. They are supposed to have, saw it at the Beijing Hobby Show earlier this year. They have a trailer for the 801 with the 5th wheel with surface-to-air missiles. So I'm thinking some Tannerite, model rockets, blowing up some little $50 plastic cheap army trucks, doing something really cool with it. So I've been thinking about this ever since I first saw that stuff in the Beijing Hobby Show. Been working with Banggood to try to get my hands on all this stuff quick, and yeah. So but more things to come. Hopefully we'll get that 6x6 one, and we can test that out and start doing some really cool warplay type videos maybe. But one thing I want to do here before we wrap this video up, I used to do a series of videos called How Big Is It Really? And time I get a new rig, I would show a size comparison so you can see if it fits well with your other rigs. And that, to me, that's big, because you got two 1/10 scale rigs on the market that aren't even close to looking the same. You know, things don't always jive together quite right. Everybody's idea of scale is different. So we're going to do that here with the Hummer. I got some folks on Instagram that were curious to see how it compared to other things. So looking at it next to a Trailfinder 2, the Hummvee body, the same body dimensions as the Tamiya Bruiser and everything. This is 1/10 scale, this is 1/10 scale. Now, people have told me in comments and stuff that this is closer. If you do the math and, you know, quantum physics and all that stuff, it's 1/9 scale. I don't know. There's always a variation. It's close enough, it's not really going to matter. I mean, in real life, a Hilux is not the same length as a Hummer. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So that 1/9 scale thing may be accurate, but that works out good for the Hummer, because I want to use the Hummer for videos and stuff with the P801. They sell that as 1/12 scale, so it might work better with the Hummer than it would, say, a Trailfinder 2. Here is the MST Jimny, the little. This is sold as 1/10 scale, the little baby crawler, and that looks very close to the Hummer scale. Those things are tiny, and that's probably, you know, real size, about 4 foot shorter. That would be pretty close, I think. And it's jacked up with big tires, and it's still as tall as a stock Hummer. So I think that's a pretty fitting companion for this one. Well, here it is next to the Baja Bug. This is the Tamiya Sand Scorcher. Again, I think this is actually pretty close to the same scale as well. And it's 1/10 scale, you know, they always say. That's pretty close. I think that's pretty accurate. Let me get a side shot of that. I think that's pretty close. And that thing's got that big old roof rack and all that jazz up there. If you haven't seen the videos on this, it's my Apocalypse Sand Scorcher. It's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite builds through time here. Sadly, I don't have an actual K5 rolling project right now, but I have this OD green carcass of a Blazer. I think that's pretty close. It's hard to tell, missing all the odds and ends off of it. But you know, they made those, what are they, the CU, CV, or whatever, the military versions of these from 82 or 83 on. They had those military K5 Blazers and pickups. And you used to see those a lot with the Hummers. You know, back growing up in the 80s, the Gulf War going on. That's all you see on TV is all the military stuff overseas. So that was yeah. It's neat though to see the vehicles and things like that. It, you know, further cemented the passion of cars and stuff, seeing stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's pretty close. They're almost exactly the same length. Wheelbase is shorter on the Blazer. But yeah, my green's off a little bit. For me, this is the most important size comparison, because obviously these two rigs need to coincide in the same scale world. The 8x8 is filthy. Found a rag here. Still got mud on it from the lake run I had. But it's kind of cool, you know. HG, we haven't really, nobody's ever really heard of that until they came out with the 407, the Bruiser clone. And then all of a sudden they started popping out these custom military trucks, U.S. military trucks of all things. And, you know, for a long time people were questioning the quality and stuff like that, and these things are actually pretty badass. That truck, both of these are extremely heavy trucks, all metal. And I think these two could work together for a video. I don't think the Hummer... See, okay, so right where I work in Denton, Texas, there's a National Guard Reserve station. Little small station, but they have a rotating supply of vehicles and equipment out there. And they actually have right now the 6x6 armored trucks. They have some UEVs or something like that. They're a different cab-over kind of armored truck. They still have a few of these Hemmets left, and they have some Hummers now. So I every day on my way to work, every morning, I pass by and I see these things in real life. Kind of see how they look next to each other, see how the sizes compare in reality, and this really doesn't look that far off. Those things, those Hemmets are big. I mean, they're 8x8, but they're really kind of small too at the same time. When I first did a video on that, somebody that actually served in the military drove these, and he's talking about how cramped they are on the inside. They're horrible to drive because there's no leg room or anything. And looking at them in real life, you can kind of see that they're not very ergonomic. But so I think I bet a driver figure that would fit into the 1/12 scale Hemmett would fit perfectly into the 1/10 scale Hummer. But yeah, that's the only size comparison I really wanted to do. But I had some people request to see other stuff, so try to deliver when I can. But I'd look forward to doing some cool videos, doing some Army stuff, maybe setting some small fires and having some fun. But let me know what y'all would like to see. And if you're interested in any of these rigs, check out the link in the video description. They're having the promo codes that Banggood gave me on these are still good. This one here with the light and sound module is $3.99 currently, which is like 50 bucks off. And for that price, for what you get, it is really actually a good deal. You know, I promote stuff and stuff like that, but when it's something I'm really passionate about, I'll tell you, and it's actually well worth 400 bucks, especially with light and sound, ready to run. All you gotta do is throw a battery in it and have some fun. The steering issue is not that big of a deal. I mean, I was out there, since I've started doing all these reviews and stuff, I try to break stuff. I try to bash it. I get out there and I try to treat it as bad as I can, because I know if it can survive that, then it'll survive what you want to put it through. And yeah, it's just about having fun with it. And that it's fast enough you can get out there and do some stupid stuff and have some pretty stupid fun with it. So anyways, I appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share if you want to see more. And keep it scale. I'll see y'all in the next video.